The storm rolled heavy over the mountains that night, lightning carving the dark sky as Eli, a weary rancher who had lost his way, stumbled through the wilderness searching for shelter. His horse had broken a leg on the rocky slope, leaving him stranded, and hunger gnawed at him as he fought against the rising wind. He didn't see the figures at first, 3 shadows moving with silent purpose, their eyes glinting with the fire of something both human and not. By the time he realized he wasn't alone, it was too late. A sharp blow to the back of his head dropped him to the forest floor, and when he awoke, he found himself bound with rope, his hands tied behind his back, and a fire crackling close enough to warm his face but far enough he could not crawl near. Standing around him were 3 women, tall and fierce, their hair wild as the mountain wind, and their eyes fixed on him as if he were prey. "You are ours now," the tallest said, her voice cutting through the silence like steel. "You will serve us." Eli struggled against his bonds, his pride burning hotter than the fire. "I serve no one," he spat, his voice hoarse but steady. The second woman, with eyes the color of storm clouds, crouched down and ran a hand across his cheek, not gently but like a predator studying its catch. "Oh, you will," she whispered. "The mountain chose you. You are here to give us strength, to be what we command." His heart pounded, but he refused to show fear. They spoke in riddles, yet their intent was clear. He was their captive, and they meant to keep him. Through the night, they spoke among themselves in a tongue he could not understand, chanting softly, feeding the fire until sparks leapt high into the darkness. Eli fought to stay awake, to look for any chance of escape, but exhaustion dragged him down, and his last thought before sleep claimed him was that he might never see his ranch again. Morning light filtered into the cave where they had taken him, and Eli found the ropes loosened, though not gone. The leader gestured for him to rise. "Walk," she commanded, and with no weapon and no clear path to freedom, he obeyed. They led him through narrow trails, up toward peaks that scraped the heavens, until they reached a clearing marked with carved stones set in circles on the earth. There the women halted, surrounding him with unyielding eyes. "This is your test," the leader said. "If you survive what comes, you will live as ours. If you fail, the mountain will take your bones." Eli felt a chill sweep his spine, the weight of destiny pressing down on him. He looked at the stones, at the strange symbols carved deep into their surfaces, and he knew whatever trial awaited would decide his fate. Fear battled with defiance inside him, and though he did not yet understand what they meant by belonging, one thing was clear: his life was no longer his own. Eli stood in the circle of stones, the chill mountain air biting at his skin as the 3 women began to chant in unison, their voices low and rhythmic, rising and falling like the growl of thunder rolling down the slopes. He had never heard such a sound before, part song, part command, and part warning, and it made the hairs on his arms stand on end. The leader, the one with fire in her eyes, stepped forward and pressed a hand to his chest. Her palm was cold as ice, and yet he felt something surge into him, like a current, rattling his bones. "The mountain will strip you bare," she whispered. "It will test your strength, your spirit, and your will. Only those who survive may belong." Eli wanted to scoff, to tell them he wasn't some pawn in their games, but the ground beneath him trembled as though the mountain itself had heard her words. From the shadows between the stones, shapes began to form, dark, shifting figures with glowing eyes, crawling closer like wolves closing in. Eli staggered back, but there was nowhere to run. The women stood tall, unafraid, their eyes fixed on him as though he alone was the focus of this trial. One of the creatures lunged, teeth bared, and instinct roared in Eli's chest. Though his hands were still bound, he twisted hard, catching the beast with his shoulder, sending it sprawling. The women's chanting grew louder, stronger, as if they were feeding the darkness, and Eli realized this was not just a physical fight, but something deeper. He fought wildly, dodging claws, stomping with his boots, rolling across the dirt to avoid another strike. Every blow he landed, every moment he refused to fall. The shadows shrank back, hissing, their glowing eyes dimming. His lungs burned, his body screamed for rest, but he would not give in. He was a rancher, a survivor, and no mountain, no spell, no trick of theirs would break him. Finally, with one last cry, he rammed into the largest of the beasts, sending it crashing against the stones. The fire at the center of the circle flared high, the chanting ceased, and the creatures dissolved into smoke that drifted away on the wind. Silence fell heavy, broken only by Eli's ragged breathing. The leader approached, her expression unreadable, and cut the ropes from his wrists. "You endured," she said softly. "The mountain has claimed you and spared you. You belong to us now." Eli rubbed his wrists, glaring at her with a mix of exhaustion and fury. "I don't belong to anyone," he growled. But the second woman, the one with storm-gray eyes, only smiled. "You speak boldly now, yet you felt it, didn't you? The bond forming, the power that touched you. You are not the same man you were when you entered that circle." And though Eli wanted to deny it, he knew she was right. Something inside him had shifted during the fight, a fire he could not explain now burning deep within his chest. It frightened him almost as much as the creatures had. They led him away from the stones back to their hidden camp, offering him water and food. He hesitated, but hunger won, and as he ate, they watched him silently as though memorizing every move he made. Finally, the third woman, the quietest of them all, spoke for the first time. "We were cursed long ago. The mountain bound us, and only one marked by its trial could free us. That is why you are here. You think we captured you, but in truth, it was destiny that delivered you." Eli froze mid-bite, staring at her. Their cruelty, their dominance, their strange power, it all began to make sense. They were trapped just as he was, prisoners of a fate carved into stone long before his birth. He wiped his mouth, his voice low. "So what happens now?" The leader's gaze locked on him, steady and unyielding. "Now, rancher, you choose. You can stay and fight with us, free us from the chains of this mountain, or you can walk away, knowing it will follow you wherever you go. The choice is yours." Eli's chest tightened. He had thought he was the captive, yet somehow, he realized, he might also be the key. The women were not simply his jailers. They were bound to him, as much as he was bound to them. The fire crackled, the night deepened, and Eli stared into the shadows, knowing his life would never be the same again. And so the story of the lone rancher and the three mountain women had only begun. Their fates were tied together, their paths entwined by powers older than the stones themselves. What came next would decide whether they were doomed or delivered. If you want to know what destiny has in store for Eli and the mountain women, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because the next chapter will leave you on the edge of your seat.